All right, hey everybody. I want to talk about shooting a little bit more in detail to what you may be used to. And when I say talk about shooting, I don't mean talk about the jump shot selection. That's for you to decide. Maybe I can make something about that and more in depth some other time. But in this video, I want to really explain to you guys the shooting mechanic for people that aren't too familiar or are having a hard time getting used to a shooting mechanic and understanding everything that goes into shooting in NBA 2K23. This video is for you. I'm going to try to make this brief, but if I really want to help you guys, it's going to be complicated to make this brief. So, okay, so there's a few things to worry about, and obviously we're just in the Pro-Am court. There's nobody here to guard us, and that's one thing you have to worry about is, people closing in, they do speed up your shot. So whatever your shot timing is, it's going to be different if somebody is closing in slightly. That's what the contest is about. And then of course you see my stamina, like my stamina is going down a lot. So if I take a shot now, it's not going to be the same speed as the shot I took earlier, which is why I missed with the slightly late. So if I wait for my stamina to regenerate, my shot's going to be, the shot that I know. So there are ways to practice this, and of course you should be using the amped badge at the highest grade you can get it to, at least a gold, minimum gold. So with my stamina bar at red, you can still shoot. You just have to, use the visual cue of your jump shot. You want to make sure that you're paying attention to whatever it is that helps you make your shot. So for some people, they look at the feet. For some people, they look at the hand. For some people, it's when the ball's above their head, they let go of the button. And of course, when you're shooting, always use the button. On PlayStation, it's square, and then on Xbox, it's whatever the equivalent of square is. Somebody will know and hopefully make a comment about it, because I'm not too familiar with Xbox controllers. So another thing that I just did here, and you might have noticed or you might have not, is off the dribble shots are also going to feel quicker. They're not going to be the same as a standing shot, right? Because when you're shooting off the dribble, you're basically pressing the shooting button before the dribble even ends, right? Whoever's contesting you, whoever's guarding you, they're not going to know that you're about to shoot. Only you are going to know that. So in their screen, it looks like you finished the dribble and then you started the shooting mechanic. But on your screen, on your end, you are done dribbling and then you press the button, but your character is still finishing up the dribble. So it's going to look a little weird, but that's another thing that can affect your shot. Now, there's obviously the fade shot, which a lot of people like to do in this game, with good reason. A fade shot this year is not a bad shot to take. It just depends, on your abilities to take that shot. One thing to pay attention to as well is which hand you decide to shoot with. So if you're a right-handed person, try to have your shots be on the right side of the court. You actually want your shots on the right side of the court because your shooting hand will be further away when someone is guarding you, unless of course they guard your hand. But if you shoot with your left hand, you want to be on the left side. Because let's say somebody's over here and you just got the ball and you're over here at the hash, you're about to shoot as a left-handed person, right? They're gonna close in. Your shooting hand is gonna be too far for them to get anywhere near. Does that make sense? It's hard to show that without us actually being in a game. But it's a good thing to remember. And also another thing to remember is your fading animations are different if you go left and right. So a fade to the right, because I'm a right-handed shooter, is gonna look like a normal fade that you might see in game. Somebody take 10 of them. But now if I try to do the same thing to the left, it's that weird little, like a glitchy fade, which is not a good fade to take. This doesn't happen if you slightly lean back when you're shooting. It won't happen, because then it's like you're taking like a running back shot like that. But it's another thing to remember. If you want to do fades, fade to your dominant hand. Don't fade to the other side unless you know, that's your thing. I don't really like those shots. They're not really fades. But there are ways to fade if you learn to do those shots, which is like those are not exactly like left fade or right fade. Those are, you're kind of running backwards. You see that, how I faded even though I was going to my non-dominant hand? That happened because I slightly tilted my analog stick to fade backwards. So I'm not just going left, I'm going left and back. And this is another thing I actually wanted to show. It's the step back. Step back is a shot you might have seen me do a lot. In my clips, in my videos, I do use this shot quite a bit. And it's good for you to learn an animation if you like to take those shots. Stick with one animation, either to Luka or James Harden or Devin Booker or whoever. And again, the thing about these shots, the thing about fade shots, a lot of people find them easier to time than a regular shot, because there's an animation that your player does that's the exact same animation. However, your shot does and can get affected the same way as a standing shot. People think it doesn't. It can. So if somebody contested me, the shot's gonna go weird. I have to change the timing of the shot. If my stamina is low, the shot's gonna go a different speed. Even with the fade, even if I do a step back or whatever it is I decide to do, you still have to pay attention to the visual cue, because the visual cue is the only thing that doesn't change, and that's the most complicated thing to do in this game when you're learning how to shoot, is to always follow your visual cue, regardless of your stamina, regardless of contest, regardless of anything. If you can do that, you're always going to shoot very well. But it's hard to do, and it takes a lot of practice, right? You want to be taking your practice shots as much as possible, either in Gatorade or in this court, which is what I do. I like to come here and I take a lot of shots, and then I go to rec. But yeah, so your shot timing, is gonna be based on all of these things, and it's also gonna be based on I gotta get rid of the ball to actually show you this, which I've made a few videos, a few shorts about this. Your shot timing release time. So usually you want to use very early if your jump shot is a little slower, and you want to use like a late if your jump shot is really fast. Usually, like if you're a spot up shooter, that's usually what you want to do. If you really know your shot, if you really know your visual cue, early and very early are great options. Mike Wang, the one of the 2K developers, he tweeted about this at the beginning of the year, saying that he finds it is a lot easier to shoot a green with the late timing. Right? Late timing is going to make your shot, you really go through the whole motion of the shot. You can better read the visual cue with the later shot. So that's something to remember about your shot timing release time, is that if you're hitting a lot of slightly earlies, that means you're letting go of the button a little too quick. So you either you either change, manually go about remembering to not do that, or If you're shooting slightly early all the time, then you need to speed up your shot. If you're shooting slightly late or late a lot, then you need to speed up your shot, either in your actual jump shot, or you want to speed up the shot timing release time. And there's there's pros and cons to everything, right? But this video is specifically for people that are having a hard time getting familiar with their jump shot, getting consistent shots without missing too many shots. This video, if you really pay attention to what I said and you pay attention to the things that I talked about, there is 100% that you're gonna get a better shot. Like 100% fact that you're gonna get a better shot. So things to think about: your stamina. If your stamina is really low and you like to run a lot, maybe you need to get some stamina boosts, or better manage your shot. Like, don't take a shot if your stamina is really low. Wait for it to go up. If you like to take a lot of fade shots, then practice your fade and learn your fade animation. You want to take step back shots, you want to learn the visual cue for your step back shot. Yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, I think I've touched on everything that you need. Don't be afraid to buy skill boosts. If you want to buy skill boosts like a jump shot boost, they're very cheap. A lot of people do that. A lot of the people that you watch on Twitch or on YouTube, I'm sure they do that. It's a standard. People don't talk about it because people do it. Like, it's not looked or it's not frowned upon, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So take your practice shots. Make sure you have a comfortable jump shot that you like, that you can read the visual cue on, and just relax. Don't try too hard. It's not too complicated, and once you get it, it's gonna be very hard to unlearn. It's gonna be very hard to unlearn. But like anything, like any sport, like any game, you take time away, you're gonna have to go back to the basics a little bit. But yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Let me know in the comments. Let me know, like, subscribe. Let me know if this video is helpful. If this video was a little too confusing, I can really break it down into like parts if it's necessary. I want you guys to be able to shoot, and I want you guys to understand that it's not too complicated to shoot your shot, and it has very, very little to do with your jump shot. Like, actually looking up a YouTube video on the best jump shot. I've used 100 different jump shots that I've created myself. To me, the best one that worked for me is the Kobe base. And I've changed the uppers a bunch of times. I've hit a lot of threes with all kinds of jump shots. It's about finding one, pick one, and then work with it and get better with it. Don't think too hard about jump shot like videos. Don't shooting in this game is not all about that, especially if you're a beginner. If you're still learning to be consistent, you don't have to worry about that at all. So yeah, see you guys on the next one.